Bum, 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 bum. Everything is awesome. Everything is just like how it should be. Everything is awesome. Everything is just like how it should be. Okay, let's see. And then we do whoop. We go back. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Oh shit. Oh, I can. Can we? Can you stop? Thanks. Then we do like that. Yeah. I can start with saying first we will do some who goes where in 2025, the driver lineup prediction from Formula 1, and let's see how good they doing that. And I also have my own prediction that I can maybe be changing. I think, I mean, the first one I realized Ricardo will maybe not be in Red Bull 2025. Yeah, I've not started the year really good. Let's see. Then after that is more. This will probably be super fun. The race did what's so alarming with Mercedes in F1 2024, and it's so beautiful to see the car being bad. Maybe we will watch Kim Illman, my $60K F1 camera bag, and then it will be some David Land. Try not to say fuel mileage challenge Indycar at STP to review. So I'm guessing this will be his Indycar race review. I'm hoping. Oh my god, the Kick Saber logo. But for now, we'll do the Formula 1 stuff. And I mean, okay, I don't know, you will see it good, but the Kick, they have the Kick logo above the Sauber, man. Okay, let's see what they...
I'm here with Lawrence Barretto for basically one of the key talking points of the season. What is the grid going to look like in 2025? Lawrence, you're first up. We're all going to have a go at this, but you are the guinea pig. Talk us through what you think the grid is going to look like.
Let's see, we can say Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc is 100% Ferrari. I mean, Lance Stroll you can say is 100% Aston Martin, but man, the day when he finally do something else will maybe be a good year for Aston Martin and everyone else in Formula 1. Yeah, Renault will probably still have Gasly and Ocon, and McLaren will have Norris and Piastri, and Red Bull will have Max Verstappen. So let's see.
Like in 2025.
Well, I'm a bit gutted I haven't got Fred Vasseurs' crystal ball that Laura gave him. But I think it's a couple of simple things to start with. I think Lance Stroll's going to end up at Aston Martin.
Bold.
Wait, what? That's a really bold prediction. Man. The bold prediction, what do you say? Two people with the same bold prediction.
Sure.
I know, I thought I'd start off smoothly.
Fine,
okay,
fine.
I think Alex Albon.
Well, that's smoothly. You went to the hardest boss.
He's going to stay at Williams.
Yeah, true.
Oh, okay. This is
that okay?
This is an interesting shout.
I think Liam Lawson definitely said, Helmut Marko said he's in next year. It's a no-brainer there.
Oh, Liam Lawson already. Ooh. Okay, let's see. Would I ever put there? Is that must be Liam Lawson? Who else will be there? Did I really not have a photo for? Oh my god, they maybe. I remember the only reason why I picked like a photo like this was because they didn't have actually a good photo of him with the suit, or at least from. I mean, like you can see Ricciardo and Tsunoda. Okay, sure.
But I also think he's going to be paired up with Yuki Tsunoda.
Now that would.
Let's see. Will Ricciardo go somewhere else than Red Bull? No, annoying. I put him slightly in the white.
Be interesting. That would be an interesting combination. Lawson, Tsunoda. You have moved Daniel Ricciardo.
And where do you think I'm going to put Daniel Ricciardo, if anyone?
Daniel Ricciardo. I mean, Red Bull, sure, but yeah, let's see. I have no idea.
This is going to be so. He's continuing.
here.
And you've upgraded him to the senior team.
Yeah.
So these are big moves early on because Albon's an option for Red Bull. You've got Lawson basically been promised the seat. I think we can guarantee that. But that is what Daniel Ricciardo has been desperate for. That's the reason he came back to Formula One. You think they're going to go with him?
Just my feeling, spending all that time in Bahrain, kind of talking to people, I kind of feel like they've made the RB team designed for Ricciardo to give him the best shot to get back up to Red
Sally didn't do a great start, but
Bull, and I think he's done enough to do that. Albon, I actually think, is probably going to likely move to Red Bull if he does in 2026. So that kind of gives Ricciardo a good year or so to kind of prove what he's got.
OK, Mercedes.
Oh, okay.
This is another huge question.
Let's see, Mercedes. I mean, I really want Mick Schumacher to be in Mercedes.
Am I going to put Antonelli? Am I? I'm not. No, I'm going to go Alonso.
He's turned down
Alonso. No.
on one narrative of hype for another. You've gone for the experience. Why do you think Mercedes will do that?
So I think Fernando
I don't see that.
fancies it. I think he fancies a chance at Mercedes. I think Toto will love a big name to replace Lewis Hamilton. And I think he's going to give Antonelli a little bit of time to warm up.
Williams. Oh, so Logan Sargent is. Oh, that I would say. That I will. I don't believe in even Logan Sargent or Kevin Magnussen. So. Oh, let's see. Oliver Behrman. Do we have him? No. We need one more photo. Where do we have? That's wrong. Where do I have my analyst off? Here we have it. We need Oliver Behrman. Man, that's interesting photo. Okay, but I want do they have I mean it looks like it's the best one. Okay, that's maybe a better one. Okay, yeah, we take it. Okay, we have Oliver Behrman. Let's see. Oh shit. good enough. Kevin Magnussen, you will be removed. Yeah.
In Williams, huge success with George Russell there.
But that's the question. Oh, that's at Williams.
Yes.
That kind of really worked out for George, kind of stepped up, had that experience. He's got Albon alongside him. Albon, we know, highly rated, can kind of make the difference there. So I think get Antonelli in the sport, give him a couple of years. By then, Fernando Alonso, what will he be? 50 by then? Who knows? He'll have moved on. Then it gets a little bit more complicated. I think with Alpine, I think they're going to want to keep one of their drivers. I think they're probably going to end up a little bit more with Gasly over Ocon, but I think they definitely want one.
Yes.
Then they're probably going to want someone who's coming from a junior formula. I want Jack Doohan, but Jack Doohan's not on it. But that's maybe...
Jack Doohan's not on the board because he's always on our shows. That's why.
But that's who probably I'd end up hitting there. Another interesting quirk, I think Hulkenberg is going to end up at...
Well, they tried to sign him last year, let's be honest. They've tried to get him before.
And Andreas Seidel loves him. So I think that's pretty sure. And I think they maybe might just stick with a bit of experience, kind of don't want to change things up too much. Get Bottas in here.
Bottas remains. You're running out of time. You've got to fill the grid. Who's going where?
I think Behrman. I think he's just going to deliver the goods.
I think that's locked in, isn't it?
Right?
I think that's locked in.
And then I think they'll go with consistency. So I think they'll want Kevin Magnussen in that car.
Consistency with Kevin Magnussen. That's a big lie.
And now it means you've got a big call to make for Carlos Sainz. So you're having him turn...
What? Man, this really was prediction.
Turning down what will become Audi. You're having him go for, let's say,
why would they?
short-term success with Aston Martin. Why do you think he'll do that?
I think Aston wants someone in the long term who can build. They can build the team around. I think they want someone who can give really good feedback, and Carlos Sainz can do that. And he's a really, really strong replacement, I think, for Fernando Alonso, and gets Aston a time to.
I mean, maybe my worst opinion about Mick Schumacher, but hey, some Copium can you have?
Focus on that Honda era.
But not. I mean, this is just almost Copium everywhere.
Coming in 2026.
Well, I can tell you that Lawrence changed his mind between the rehearsal and he's gone for this grid in 2025.
I haven't got anyone here. I'm going to have to leave him there.
So Ocon has continued. You put Doohan in there. Either way, we're going to continue arguing about the grid in 2025 and send it back to you.
Also, was this a meme prediction? Sonoda. Let's see. I mean, I don't believe in Logan Sargent or Magnussen. And I think Hulkenberg will keeping in Haas. Let's see. Williams. Maybe 2026. Oh shit, it doesn't matter. It will still be. I mean, Perez have done a good job for now. Yeah, I mean, 2025. But what will Ricciardo do? I mean, I think Alonso will stay. I mean, why? Like, also people still think that you want to be in Mercedes. It's like you're not upgrading yourself when you go to Mercedes. You're downgrading yourself. So the coping about Mercedes is, man, that's sad. Let's see, will someone more not be in Formula 1? I mean, I would say I will have some belief. And then I only... Do I think Ricciardo... I mean, I don't have any hype for Antonelli. Over sure. $2025. I mean, if Perez keep being in like he was, like he are now, I feel like why would they change that up? And I mean, if Max is about to leave, then you just put in Ricciardo. Let's see. Where do we have Porsche? There we have Theo Porsche. Will it be in 2025? I don't think so. Probably 2026 if Bottas keep being bad. But this is for 2025. Yeah, no, we... Can I? Like that. Let's see. There's nothing else I will want to change. I mean... That is so funny. Yeah, Kevin Magnusson. Yeah. Keep him because he's real. What did he say about Kevin Magnusson? Do we have it? It's like the biggest copium.
Change things up too much.
You're running out of...
And I think he's just going to
I think
deliver.
that's
I think,
That's locked in.
and then I think they'll go with consistency. So I think they'll.
Consistency, yeah. With Kevin Magnussen. Surely. Man, that's so funny. Oh my god. Okay. But I mean, uphill will not change anything. McLaren will not change. And I can't see Alonso go to Mercedes. That's... I mean, Mercedes aren't that good that you actually want to go there. I mean, here we have Mercedes, that's Saudi. And Ferrari, we already know. The only thing is, will Perez still be good, or will Ricciardo have to move because of Lawson? And Alabama will 100% take Kevin Magnussen place if they want to remove him. But that they say, well, maybe the biggest copium for me, Mick Schumacher in Mercedes. Man, I'm a believer in Mick Schumacher. But if not, it will be Westy, and if not Westy, it will be Antonelli. But if Mick Schumacher don't get a place, it will be 100% Westy. I don't see, at least for 2025, but maybe 2026 Antonelli can be in Mercedes or Williams. But yeah,
So Ocon is...
that was F1 copium. I mean, so... I mean, why would... I mean, Alonso moving to Aston Martin, Sainz go for some reason to Aston Martin, and then Magnussen still in F1 and Hulkenberg jumps to Sauber, and man, so weird. Oh, wait, let's see. If I go on the fun stuff now. Yeah, it's time to watch the race. What's so alarming about Mercedes in F1 2024? That they can't make a car. After 2 years, they're still bad. That's hilarious. Man, what did I change? Okay, save. And then we... open up the greatest game ever. So can we have... Man, should have opened it before I closed it down. See, that's right. Yes. And we will see. Yeah, the video is there. Let's see. Yes, back to the fun stuff in Minecraft. It's time for the last part of the mining out. But while this boring stuff happens, more fun stuff will happen in the video. We need sound. And let's play.
This season was meant to be a fresh start for Mercedes, one where it would eliminate the Achilles heel that held it back time and again in...
Oh, this is beautiful. Yeah. It just took 2 years for them to understand that, man, we have still not made a good car. Good news, yeah, sure. A difficult start, yes. I mean, Oliver and Bama almost have equally much points as Lewis Hamilton. Lewis in 2 races have 8 points and Oliver Bama 6 points in 1 race. familiar problems. Fundamental problem. The intro.
In Formula One's new ground effect era. After 2 years of struggling, Mercedes produced an overhauled 2024 car.
After 2 years, they finally made something they can call a car. I mean, that's progress. They will probably make a really good car than 2026.
One team principal, Toto Wolff, insisted was a good foundation to build from. But it still hasn't got on top of one of the key challenges of these ground effect cars, hitting problems that are all too familiar. This has to cast doubt over whether the dominant force of the 2010s...
Yes. Or Mercedes and Haas teaming up. I mean, a reporter said something about Haas and Mercedes, I heard.
will ever get on top of these types of cars. Despite optimism after pre-season testing, 2024 has not started well. So far, Mercedes has only the 5th fastest car on single-lap pace, with a deficit to Red Bull fractionally smaller than it was in...
I mean, this is beautiful stats. Mercedes 5th. They finished 2nd last year because of maybe some copium. But then Aston Martin and McLaren just push further away from them, and now they after them. I mean, Alpine have a sad year. Man, Williams need to be better than Haas. This is just sad. And hopefully this will make Visa Cash App RB Formula 1 team more points so they can secure their 6th position, and then Williams can be 7th, and then Stake. Alpine will probably get 7th, and then Williams 8th, Stake 9th, and hopefully Haas in the end will be last.
2023.
But
That in
just
itself isn't the big
copium.
concern, because Mercedes always knew it would be off the pace of Red Bull at the start of the year. But the key objective was to have a car that worked consistently and performed in line with what the team expected. In
Diamonds!
Bahrain, that seemed to be the case, despite cooling problems that
Mistakenly
compromised
wrong.
Lewis Hamilton and George Russell's race pace. But in Saudi Arabia, some very familiar complaints emerged. Before getting on track in Jeddah, Hamilton said, "Last year we didn't have the confidence in the high speed, so it'll be interesting to see now with a car we're more confident with." He was then surprised and likely bitterly disappointed to discover during practice that, just like last year, he didn't have confidence in the rear end. The problem persisted throughout the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend, with Hamilton even experimenting with a higher downforce rear wing in FP3 to...
Oh, he's talking about rain because they were beautiful. He do a bad quality and people, did you do it have a better race car? Of course. Then in the race, still bad.
try to solve the problem. Thanks to these struggles, while Mercedes had been a little closer to the pace in qualifying in Bahrain this year versus last year, it was substantially worse off in Saudi Arabia. The pace deficit in itself isn't the primary concern. Instead, it's the reason for the difficulties at the high-speed Jeddah circuit that are worrying, because they highlight a problem Mercedes didn't know it still had and hoped it had fixed. Jeddah
Mercedes still have problems? I can't believe that.
is not only a fast track, but one with a smooth, high-grip track surface. To get the performance there out of these ground effect cars, you need to run the car low and stiff. And this is where Mercedes is, yet again, hitting trouble.
Sälj din bil snabbt, tryggt och enkelt med Wheelaway.
Time.
Emma skapade en annons på några minuter och fick in flera bud från seriösa bilhandlare. Hon accepterade budet som passade henne bäst. Sälj
Not a
din bil
scam.
the easy way med Wheelaway.
100% legit. We can skip it.
Vad är den lägsta räntan jag...
So what exactly was going wrong? Well, you'll remember both Hamilton
Well, who knows? I mean, they have the best working team, they have the best engine, they have best people, they have best everything. So that they can make any problems is more impossible than possible, so they somehow succeeding to do the impossible.
And Russell complaining about a lack of confidence in the rear end of the car consistently over the past 2 seasons, and now they have every reason to again. A glance at the performance of the cars through the high-speed sweeps of turns 6 to 10 at Jeddah highlights the difficulty. This is a challenging section of the track for the car, and the Mercedes W15 was the slowest of all in qualifying at the entry to turn 7. 7
Alabama could, that would be so beautiful to see. Alabama out-qualifying Lewis Hamilton. Man, that would be the best qualifying ever.
Kilometers per hour slower than Red Bull,
like when Stroll did it.
Ferrari and McLaren, giving away 16 kilometers per hour to Red Bull at the apex. After qualifying, Russell talked of the struggle of trying to find the sweet spot with the car. Russell felt he had been stronger on the first day of practice in Jeddah, but the Mercedes took a step backwards. And he indicated the same thing happened in Bahrain. This had echoes of the past 2 years, talking of a car that works well if you can get it in the right window, which it very rarely was. I asked Russell after qualifying how concerned he was that there might not be such a sweet spot for the car. He argued it's about finding a better compromise. This has echoes of what Mercedes has battled for years. The inconsistent performance, the unpredictable swings from day to day, and even between the two sides of the garage, as well as the struggles with getting the car to do what is expected in the faster corners when running close to the ground. And worst of all, this is something the team believed it had got on top of. In Bahrain, Russell spoke of his certainty that this problem with the lack of confidence in the rear end had been solved, and that Mercedes had a much better platform to work from. As he said, there's nothing telling us that this will be a problem. It's clear the problem isn't as bad as it was before. It's only in specific corners where this lack of confidence, which comes from a lack of downforce, manifests itself. But it's clear that a problem Mercedes believed was behind it persists. As head of trackside engineering Andrew Shovlin explained, Mercedes was battling 3 main problems in Saudi Arabia. Firstly, the poor balance meant the car often suffered snaps of oversteer in the high-speed corners. He also confirmed that bouncing was a problem, primarily in qualifying, but he indicated that the
okay, still bouncing. Oh, could it be a fun bike race for Lewis Hamilton again?
main difficulty was simply not having enough grip. And this is something Shovlin says the team is working hard on to understand before the Australian Grand Prix. It's a worrying situation that means an immediate upturn in form is far from guaranteed. So what exactly is going wrong? Well, it's clear that Mercedes is hitting trouble at high speed when the car is pulled close to the ground by the powerful Venturis in the underfloor. When it comes to ground effect cars, the closer to the ground you are, the more downforce you generate, but you don't want to hit the ground or you run the risk of triggering bouncing or porpoising. This is why the suspension of these cars is so important. Ideally, you need a mechanical platform that holds the car in the right place to generate that downforce without being too stiff to be compliant enough to drive. That's a sweet spot Red Bull is brilliant at achieving. However, simulating that in the design
and this, for some reason, they think Max Verstappen want to leave and go to Mercedes. Or Alonso, like we saw in the F1 prediction for 2025, that Alonso want to leave Aston Martin for Mercedes. Why would they? Mercedes have shown how bad they are to make a good car.
And development phase is not easy. You can't do it in the wind tunnel, as you can't have the car model hitting the belt. CFD is a valuable tool, but as the floor of the car gets close to the ground, the calculations become exponentially more complicated. Mercedes has been working on improving its simulation tools ever since it realised it was in trouble in 2022, so this is an area where gains have been made, but according to Wolf, it's not.
I mean, like people always say, this copium. We have done some gains. We are faster now. Faster from what? Are you 0.01 faster or 0.1 faster? I mean, if your improvement is nothing, why even talk about it?
Not enough. What he characterised as a fundamental problem in Jeddah was one of the floor not producing the downforce the simulations indicate at high speed. So we're into the question of correlation here. There's a point where the downforce isn't produced at the levels required to give the car the grip it needs, which in particular manifests itself as a lack of confidence in the rear end. And that confidence is lacking because the overall grip is not there. I asked Wolf after the race in Saudi Arabia how concerning it was that this problem has echoes of the past 2 years. He admitted the team has spent 2.5 years chasing something fundamental without solving it. The team must, according to Wolff, give it a massive go in the build-up to Australia to understand the problem. And while Albert Park is not as fast a track as Jeddah, the high-speed left-right of turn 9 and 10 will be a time-sapping sequence if Mercedes is still having problems. And there are also other corners where the team expects to be in trouble if there's a repeat of Jeddah. The problem is, if the source of the weakness is the simulation tools the team has been using, tools that they've been working on sharpening for more than 2 years, can it really be expected to turn things round immediately?
No.
Wolff says he's 100% sure that Mercedes will fix this.
Man. If you're so 100% sure, maybe that fixing will happen 2023 maybe?
The question
or
is,
maybe never been a problem from the start. But what do I know? To the Wolff is so good at this.
can Mercedes really do it?
No.
You might assume that's it for another season for Mercedes, with another change of car concept it needed to solve this problem. And this is where the good news is, because that's not necessarily
Good news.
the case. Mercedes made some major changes to the architecture
It's time for copium time.
of the car for 2024 with a revised monocoque, including moving the cockpit rearwards by 10 centimetres and a revised rear suspension and gearbox. These were hard points in the design that needed to change to create more performance potential, and all are positive. Instead, the Mercedes problem presumably lurks in the detail of the floor, and that primarily means the hidden topography of the underfloor. As we saw when the floor of the Red Bull was exposed last year, the top of the floor is a complex shape, and this is key to avoiding the problems Mercedes is having. When you're at high speed and the car is close to the track, you don't want the downforce to keep building endlessly, or you will suddenly be on the ground. Therefore, you want to design your floor so that there's a small controllable stall effect that will prevent the car from being pushed lower. However, you don't want the stall to be too big, or you risk the car rising and porpoising beginning. This is fiendishly difficult to do and is potentially what is eluding Mercedes. The fact Wolff talks about the car not producing the downforce anticipated in the high speed suggests that perhaps the attempts to control this, what our resident F1 technical director Gary Anderson calls a dimmer switch effect, is not working as expected. Maybe the stall is a little too big.
This is the good news. They don't know how to fix it. Okay,
Or perhaps the suspension isn't controlling things enough in these extreme low conditions. Whatever the problem is, it requires enormous depth.
The good news is they know that there is a problem. They don't know yet what the problem is. Okay.
Of understanding to eliminate, and from the outside
Then
we
I
can
can come
only point to
with
the
a lot of
possible
good
problems in general terms. However, the fix will lurk in the detail. If it can't be solved with tweaks to the setup and the way the car
The
runs,
good news
which seems unlikely,
can't be solved.
Mercedes will surely look to the shape of the underfloor and perhaps the detail of the floor edges to tackle this. If it is primarily an aerodynamic problem, then that is fixable. If, that is, you can understand it.
Yeah, the good news that if it's the problem, they can fix it. That is, if it is the problem. Nice, the good news.
There have been other problems for Mercedes that have led to this
news.
tough start. In Bahrain, the puzzling cooling problems forced the
Yes,
drivers to
and
lap
done.
several tenths off the pace of the
Hi.
car. Without that, the team believes it would have been up
One
there
more.
with Ferrari. What's more, it had a car that appeared to be bouncing more than others. While watching trackside throughout testing in the first weekend, we observed this problem, and it happened again in Saudi Arabia. That again points to things not working quite as hoped for Mercedes. These are all concerning troubles that will hinder the ambition Mercedes has to take a car that fundamentally works well and add performance. As Hamilton says, it's at least strong in the slower corners, but the fast corners need to be tackled. Once again, it's troubleshooting problems while the competition, notably Red Bull and Ferrari, are simply able to work through a normal
Wait, not McLaren, Aston Martin? What?
development program. That's been the story of the past 2 years for Mercedes. If it's to have any chance of getting back to regular winning ways before 2025, it needs to get on top of the problems as
Will it be one more season where Lewis Hamilton doesn't get the win?
quickly as it can. But recent history tells us that might not be possible.
Okay, so there was a lot of stuff. Mercedes still don't know how to make a car. A lot of copium. Okay, so it was half funny. Could have been more funny, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, should it be some Indycar time? Probably. Let's see. I don't even if he will talk about that race, but we can start with David Land. Try not to say fuel mileage challenge in the car at STP to review. So I guess it is the race, but we will see. Shit, we need sound also. A good start.
Coverage today is brought to you by the members of the DL500 Club. For just $10 a month, you get exclusive content and send me to all the races. So I'm not sure that's exactly what the team owners meant when they said they wanted to be more like Formula One. Yeah, it was a bit of a snoozer today, unfortunately. I'm probably being unfair. There were a lot.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about. And
of at least intriguing things in this race. There was some action. We had some cautions. We had some drama. I think there was some.
Let's see. Did anything fun happen in that race? Mostly no, I would say. Newgarden was in the lead most of the time. Oh, it was a sad day for the Swedish drivers. Marcus Ericsson had some problem. The other Swede got attacked by Grosjean. Rosenqvist had a better race than he had any time I watched him. I mean, started P2 and at least finished in P10. I've never seen that before. So, I mean, maybe a good race for Rosenqvist. And the half Swede had maybe a good race also. That's the only thing I remember. Willpower and McGockling. What to say? Weird name. They have, I think, good races. They were behind Newgarden in the top.
Some compelling storylines to follow throughout this race. And certainly the biggest one is the fact that Joseph Newgarden is rested, recovered, not following anyone on social media, and absolutely... yeah,
that was something was needed to show. Was it in the race? Man.
Absolutely smacked the field today. I mean, that's a classic Joseph Newgarden performance. As it turns out, he has not...
Classic. Okay, I've not seen him before. I saw the fun last year when Alex Palou did the unthinkable. Always won the races.
Forgotten road courses or street courses. He's just as good on those as he is on the ovals. So, you know, from that perspective, I feel like the rest of the drivers had a much more difficult time kind of talking about their race. I mean, what were they supposed to say other than fuel mileage? And I gave the drivers that challenge when I spoke to them after the race. You can tell me anything you want to tell me about the race, but you cannot use the phrase fuel mileage.
Oh my god. The interview must have finished really fast.
Mileage.
På Amazon.se hittar du produkterna du älskar till priser du också kommer att älska.
I don't think so.
Så att du kan...
Go away.
Here's what they said.
Yeah, no, you couldn't. Slow?
No, I mean, listen.
Dude, it's such a long race.
Impossible. Yeah, there was some of...
That's why I wish they put it back to, 110 laps where it's a clear three-stopper and it makes for a much better race, much better strategy calls and so on. Yeah, this you're all just sitting in a line, so it feels really kind of, not that good for the fans.
Man, even the drivers had a bad boarding race. I'm not alone.
So normally you can prepare to try and defend or try and attack, and it wasn't the case this weekend. But anyway, we were doing fuel saving and stuff. Everyone was, but at the end of the day, even lifting, sometimes you needed to control the the tire temps and stuff, you know. So in a way, you're kind of, the fuel saving is almost helping a little bit the tire degradation. It was hard to make it on 2 stops. A lot of people were struggling, and we were able to do that.
Yeah, people.
Rosenquist.
Dancing with the wall. They're flirting with the wall.
Yeah, also Willpower, Alex Palou, and yeah, there we have Alex Palou, Willpower. There we have. I don't know these guys or him.
100 laps, and
But it was a good race. I mean,
Didn't he interview Newgarden? Man.
it allowed you to be different than others, and try to save more. Try to more, and but I feel like everything else, fuel saving went well.
I think that was fun. It's always nice to break the drivers out of their usual questioning about their mental state or the tires or whatever. You know, just throw something different at them. I always like doing that. So obviously, Joseph Newgarden, winner of the race. We've talked about that, and we will continue to talk about that throughout the rest of this video. But let's take a look at the other 26 drivers.
I mean, it wasn't boring the first time seeing him win.
Drivers in today's field and see how they did, and I'll try to comment on each of them. So here are the race results. And as I mentioned...
Oh yeah, but award. P2. This, there we have Scott McLaughlin. Weird name. Willpower. Oh, kult att ha hört. I had a good race. Man. Alex Palou. So... far down from P1. What's happened?
Mentioned up top, it's Joseph Newgarden for Team Penske. Penske has won every first race of every series they're in, save for the...
Won Newgarden lost... Eller first race last year? I don't know. Probably because he mentioned it.
NASCAR Cup Series, a bit of an interesting stat there. Newgarden taking the PPG colors to victory lane here at St. Pete. The first time he's won here in a couple of years. Pato Award, once again, the bridesmaid here at St. Petersburg, and the McLaren winless streak continues.
No. Didn't Mark Series? Oh, maybe this was not the first race then. Last year.
Well into 2024. Scotty McLaughlin, a former winner here, started mid-pack, worked his way all the way up to P3 for car 3. Will Power, who you heard from earlier in today's video, I think he's probably right about the fuel mileage. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But another driver who came up from mid-pack, Will Power did a great job. Colton Herta, you know, he looked like he had a chance there. Early on in the pit sequence serial, but he fell back late in the going. However, Herta the top Honda in the field. Alex Palou, we talked to him. You'll hear more from him later on in this video. P6 and the top Ganassi driver in the field, and the second fastest Honda for the former champion. Felix Rosenquist in P7 started on the front row. You'll hear more from him later on.
Oh, nice. There we have him. Some Alex Palou. Let's see, finish Rosenquist. Not often you see him finished so good after starting P2. Yeah.
On today, I was surprised a little bit, but he definitely had a struggle in the morning warm-up, had some troubles with braking. Many drivers had trouble with braking today. He didn't have that so much in the race, but didn't quite make the right strategy call for Felix. And then Alexander Rossi, a quiet P8 for the second orange McLaren there. And then you've got Scott Dixon in P9. Managed to have an amazing save for Scott Dixon there, going down into off of the back straight.
Scott Dixon had a great save. I don't remember that, but probably.
The same place his teammate Marcus Armstrong crashed. Dixon saved it. Renus VK, who we talked to and you'll hear more from later. finished and rounded out the top 10. He was really strong, I thought, this weekend. Rinus did a good job and was able to deliver in P10. Santino Ferrucci, this is something I haven't talked about a whole lot, but the AJ Foyt cars have been super good here since Sebastian Bourdais ran that race, I believe, around 2020 for them. The setup, good. Santino knows how to drive a Bourdais setup, and here they are, almost knocking on the door of the top 10. That team also, of course, has a partnership with Penske Racing. Maybe that helped a little bit, too. Kyle Kirkwood in P12, another former Foyt driver, never quite was able to work his way up through the field from a poor starting position. Callum Ilott in his debut for McLaren is in lucky 13. Kiffin Simpson, let's give a big shout out to the highest finishing rookie in the field. Kiffin kept...
Oh, there we have him. Tom Blomqvist, 50% Swedish. Finish, I mean, better than Marcus Ericsson and what's his name is.
Kept his nose clean all day long, and I think 14th is a very solid result for him. Pietro Fittipaldi in P15. You'll hear more from him later. I believe he was the highest mover in the whole field, coming up from the back row up until 15th position. Graham Rahal had some issues mechanically, which hindered him to a 16th place finish at a track that he's won at before. Tom Blomqvist was just behind Kiffin Simpson in the rookie battle in P17. Augustine Canapino had a bit of an oopsie doodle in turn 1 trying to pass Callum Ilott. He slots into the 18th position. Jack Harvey in his return to IndyCar racing, it gets 19th for Dale Coyne Racing. Christian Lundgaard had a flat tire on lap 1. That put him...
Oh, that's probably not a fun race for Christian Lundgaard. Now, after the first, in the first lap, his race is ruined.
In P20.
There we have him, Linus Lundqvist. Yeah, he was pushed by Romain Grosjean. Well, I think he would have a better race.
20. Christian Rasmussen started from the pit lane and got 21st starting position. Colin Brown had a difficult day today. Went off the road at one point and also had a pit lane fire in his tumultuous IndyCar debut. Linus Lundqvist got dumped by Romain Grosjean, who finishes right behind him after a pit lane penalty, but Lundqvist was able to get back in the race. Marcus Ericsson fell out with mechanical issues. Stingray Robb had braking issues going into turn 1, and Marcus Armstrong finishes last at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg after getting into the wall after locking the rear brakes up and ending his day in a pretty heavy shunt. So you've heard some of the stories throughout the...
What's your biggest challenge to eating healthy?
It's time, having a busy schedule.
And how do you combat that?
I usually drink milkshakes when I don't have time to cook or meal prep.
What do you like about it?
It's really easy to prepare. I just add 2 scoops and I get all
Only
the key nutrients I need for the day. It has plant protein, fibers, minerals, vitamins, and I also think it has probiotics. And it's really affordable too. One meal is only €1.52.
And what was the brand again?
It's Plenty Shake by Jimmy Joy. It's really good. Go try it.
From Jimmy Joy. 100% needed. One more scam mad. Yeah, the greatest ad ever. Hi. Why did I get... this place. Sure.
27 car field. Let's go back to the drivers and hear from them, their stories, before I give my analysis.
You got Barry back on the stand this weekend. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah, it's amazing. Obviously, we have a connection since 21. We missed him in Portland and Laguna last year, which we didn't do too bad on track. No, honestly, we missed him a lot on the stand, and it's great to have him back. So it's good to get that number 10 top 6.
I think we improved compared to last year. So I'm on 15 races in last year. A top 10 was my best result of the season. It's race 1 now. Thank you.
So this will be your last top 10 then. It's bad, man.
It's race 1 and and we matched that so far. So I think it's a good start, and there's a lot of fast cars out there, especially out the front. So to be one of in between those guys, I think is we can call that a good day.
Pietro Fittipaldi, I believe you made the most positions out of any driver today. How was it first time back in an Indycar in a race for a while?
No, it was great. I mean, we took it step by step, just trying to gain experience. The more laps we did, this track is new to me. I never ran in a street circuit with the Indycar. The last time I raced the Indycar on a road course was 2018. So, we knew it was going to be difficult. We got only like 2 days of testing to come. There's a lot of new people working on the 30 car. They're new to me, so we didn't have enough time to gel. So we took it step by step, but we knew that we would evolve massively throughout the race, the more laps we did. And that's exactly what happened. We executed, we did perfect. When we had the pace, we overtook and finished in the 15th place, which honestly, I don't think we could ask for more starting from where we started. So first race as well, I think the team did a great job. And
you can ask for less if you don't want to ask for more.
It's a good pace to work.
I'm pretty happy with it, man. I think
actually true, because I never seen Rosquist being so good at a race. He just always fall back when he start. I mean, the most saddest part is when he start P1 and then he just fall off.
So we had a really solid weekend, but just weren't really on the right strategy. We decided to go on reds, which turned out.
Feels like you're never on the right strategy. Feels bad, man.
Not really be the one. Had some minor issues, and then one poor pit stop. So I think considering that things didn't really go our way, we were pretty happy with the piece.
And also the biggest problem, he and the hard tires seems like never it works with him.
7, to be honest. There's more to learn. It just kind of, nice to have this race done, a couple of long runs done, analyze stuff, and I'm sure we'll come back super strong for the next one.
Now, I'm going to get a lot of comments. I need you to describe the cool suit real quick.
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid?
No. It's actually 9 degrees Celsius. This keeps me cool. Physically, I am cool mentally. But yeah, that's the deal.
Okay, so I touched on it at the beginning. Was a little bit spicy about it. Sorry, but was this a great race? Nah, it was not.
True.
It was, when we spoke to Herta yesterday.
A true IndyCar race it was. Nothing happened, and it was boring.
Walking in the pit lane.
Or maybe more Formula 2, Formula 3 race. Nothing happens. They just driving after each other, and nothing happens.
And I was able to confirm it on the grid walk, talking to a few different engineers and drivers. When you start hearing, the tire compounds are pretty similar, and the question, of course, becomes when that happens, is it going to be a fuel mileage race? And of course, when it's a 2-stop here with 100 laps, definitely going to be a 2-stop race. So without a significant amount of yellow, this was not going to be an exciting race. And everybody, I think Will Power said it best, right? They all kind of ran around in a line and saved fuel. And I think part of the problem, and I hate to harp on things, because this video is going to feel like I'm harping on a lot of things I've harped on before. But I said this in the Joseph Newgarden, swinging below the pit line video, right? These teams have had so long with this chassis and engine package, and in particular, this configuration of the chassis and engine package with the universal aero kit, with the aero screen on it, and the engines, more or less being the same. I mean, small gains are made each year by the development of Chevy and Honda, but for the most part, we're running with the same package that arrived here in 2020. And when you have that longevity with exactly the same rules and teams that are of such high quality as the ones that race here in the IndyCar series, the teams are going to figure out the strategy, they're going to figure out how to manage the tires, and they're going to figure out the most efficient way to manage the fuel for the particular length of the race that we got today, which is 100 laps. And any driver would tell you, probably any strategist, almost certainly any strategist would tell you that 100 laps with the current package is going to result in that style of a race. It's just the facts. And, you know, without...
So every race from now on can be equally fun.
Significant technical change. Now, obviously, the hybrids are supposed to debut at Mid-Ohio mid-season, and by the time we get back here next year, presumably the hybrids will be attached to the racing machines. And maybe that will throw a bit of a wrench into the racing. But as it stands right now and going forward into the season, outside of a couple of tracks, Milwaukee and the Nashville Superspeedway, which thankfully are two races that are at the end of the season, I hate to say it this way, but there's a lot of predictability, I would say, going into IndyCar racing. Now, the good news is we're going to a track that IndyCar has only tested at, never had a race, and it's a
So one race will be fun to watch.
championship all-star event, kind of in the similar vein as the Marlboro Challenge, the Thermal Club. Do we know really what to expect there? Absolutely not. Does that mean it's probably going to be an entertaining show? No. I would probably say so. So, you know, at least we can look forward to that. But the rest of the season, you know, outside of changing the laps or changing the race distance or whatever you have to do to make the races a little bit more spicy, I would expect more of the same that we've seen here at St. Pete. And again, it's just because the technical regulations have stayed so consistent. Probably part of the reason why there's 27 teams on this grid, by the way. You know, but you have to kind of, you have to balance that. You have to balance unpredictability with stability. And I think they're a little too far on the stability side, on the competition side of things. And to say that, you know, you're going to end up with races like this because it's just going to be a little too easy to know what's going to happen. When me, an idiot on YouTube, can hear a driver say it's probably going to be a two-stop race and the deg isn't all that much between the two different tire compounds, and I know what's going to happen, and I'm an idiot, that's probably a problem. That's all I'm saying.
True.
But I think Joseph Newgarden is an incredible story of this season.
Why?
He was good last year, and supposedly he hated his job. So him coming back and loving life again and loving his job and loving driving race cars, I think that is a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous thing for this field. I think Alex Palou, you know, you heard from him say that he wasn't able to race quite the way he wanted to because of the fuel saving. So I think Alex Palou is going to be a serious contender for this championship.
Nice.
I think the Indianapolis 500 is going to be awesome with 35 cars and 2 cars going home. That's going to be a lot of fun. So there's a lot of things to look forward to too. I don't want to bury everything too much. I mean, certainly this weekend there's been a lot of that, and I don't want to necessarily pile on. But we do want to keep it factual. We do want to keep telling the truth, and that's what I guess I'm here for. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Lane on YouTube. Subscribe for more motorsport content from the runway at the Albert Whitted Airport. We'll see you at another airport in Sebring this weekend.
Sälj din bil snabbt, tryggt och enkelt med Wheelaway. Erik skapade en annons på några minuter och fick in flera bud från seriösa bilhandlare. Han accepterade budet som passade honom bäst. Sälj din bil the easy way med Wheelaway.
No, I don't think so.
Just nu har vi våra bästa priser på resor över hela...
Okay, I don't care. I don't really care. Okay, so that was... Hey, my opinion was right. It was a boring race. Even the person that liked IndyCar thought this was a boring race. Let's see. Hey, this we can watch. Kim Ullman. My 60k F1 camera bag. Let's see what they have to
And
say.
I'm an F1 photographer, and this year I'll be heading away for some 24 races and 4 days of testing. That's 100 days on track for about 12 hours a day. At the end of the year, I will have shot probably around 500,000 images. But what equipment do I use? Well, you're about to find out in this video. So where do we start? Well, let's start with the camera bodies. Canon R3. I take 2 of these, sensational camera, beautiful autofocus. What I love is that you can actually lock the focus on someone's eye and then reframe the shot, and it stays in focus on that person's eye. This shoots up to 30 frames per second, which is pretty handy when it comes to motorsport. This is far lighter than the old 1DX Mark III. It has an articulated...
So what do you focus on F1 car?
Screen. That's invaluable when it comes to shooting from low angles. It takes 2 different memory cards, a CF Express, one of these, and an SD card, one of these. Now, I'll typically shoot JPEGs of this card over the whole 4 days. Won't ever touch it. On the other card, I'll shoot RAWs, and I edit the RAWs. So at the end of the race, I'm left with every single picture I've taken on this card, which I download and store just in case somebody comes back in 5 years and says, oh, I want a frame before the one I saw on your website, which means I can go back and actually find that, albeit it will be a JPEG file. And the third camera I take is the one that I'm shooting this video on. It's a Canon R5. I don't use that much on track. It puts out a much larger file, which is great if I'm going to do something that needs really high resolution, but it's certainly not anything like the Canon R3, which is more designed for motorsport. Let's talk lenses, and I'll start with this 600. I don't take it to all races, but certainly when my son joins me at a number of races this year, he will bring this lens. This is a fixed 600mm, shoots at f4. Image quality is astounding. Next up, a 100 to 500mm lens, which is very good.
I still have heard any more news from him, so he should... Is Red Bull already gone? This finish. And Max have already moved to Mercedes.
Good for bright light, although not so good at night, because at 500mm it's f7.1. But it's so much lighter than carrying a 6 or a 500. Next up, my favourite lens at the moment. This is Canon's 100 to 300, and I only shoot Canon. Well, when I say only, I've got one lens, which I'll get to in a minute, which is not a Canon lens. This is fantastic at f2.8 for the whole 100 to 300 range. It's a little bit heavier than I would like. This is the 70 to 200mm, a lot smaller, still f2.8, but obviously it doesn't go to 300. And I think for motorsport photography, the 100 to 300 is a better option for me out on track. Now, almost always I'll have a 70 to 200 or a 100 to 300 on one of my cameras. On the other camera, it could be a 135mm because this is f2. This allows me to shoot very soft backgrounds, and I like to use this on the grid on a Sunday. I'll often use this 50mm lens too on the Sunday out on the grid because at f1.2, it throws the background completely out of focus. But this lens is quite remarkable. This is a Japanese lens that somebody gave me last year. It's probably worth around about 1,000 Aussie dollars, but this is an f1 lens. I mean, not Formula One, I mean f/1. Its aperture is that low. Have a look at what it does to the backgrounds. But I need an ND filter to shoot in bright light if I want to shoot at those low f-stops. So there are the 7 lenses I take to almost all races. Sometimes I might...
7 lenses. It must be funny to carry everything that around.
Swap one out and might put instead a 45mm tilt shift or a 24mm fixed or even a 14mm fixed. Oh, and there's one other lens and it's on this camera right now. It is the 15 to 35mm lens. Next up, let's talk about battery chargers. Here are the 3 that I take. The one on the left for the Canon R5, the middle one for the R3s, and the right-hand one is for...
Oh, let's see. No, doesn't look like... Nope. Nothing I have.
Or my Pro Photo Flash. Let's talk about that now. It's a great flash unit, very expensive, and I think probably Canon's caught up with Pro Photo now, but I'm stuck with it, and I quite like it. And there are a couple of light shaping tools that attach to the front magnetically. Batteries, I take 2 Pro Photo, I take 4 for my cameras, 2 in the cameras at all time and 2 charging, and 2 for the R5, 1 in the camera and 1 always on charge. And where do I charge them? In the media centre. We get a desk, a chair, internet at every single race in a dedicated media centre, and I will set up all of my kit there and pretty much leave it at the desk, well certainly batteries charging, on the desk. Some races you have to be a little bit more careful and you might lock stuff up, but in general most of them are pretty good, and I've thankfully, touch wood, never had anything go missing or stolen. I lost stuff. To use one of these lenses on my new R3s, you need an adapter ring. So I have 2 of those and a 2 times converter. So a 600mm lens becomes a 1200mm lens, and the 1 to 300 becomes a 200 to 600. Let's talk about other stuff. For instance, these black rapid straps, I love them. I've always used them. I don't know anyone can have a camera just slung over their shoulders. It just doesn't seem very safe. And the beauty of this is when I've got a camera on here, I can quickly bring it up and shoot, bring up this one and shoot, and the other one just hangs. And coming up shortly, you'll have a chance to win one of these fantastic black rapid straps, along with about another $1,200 worth of merchandise. Details coming up shortly. This year, I'm taking one of these with me, a UU. It's essentially water that you freeze inside this thing. You stick it around your neck. You might have seen some of the F1 drivers walking around on hot days, and I think if I'd had one in Qatar last year, I might have been in a lot better condition. And like the black rapid straps, this will be one of the items in that giveaway pack coming up shortly. Now this year I've got a couple of extra cameras, one of them being this little Go 3. What I love about it is it becomes very small. You might have seen my recent video where I used a clamp and had it on my hat and walked around with it. That is the camera, and I can record and then play it back through this. Looking forward to some great results out of that. Also, I've got one of these Insta360s, which you can do stuff like sticking that in your mouth and get some amazing shots, wear it on your head. That'll be great for some of my videos, and you'll see and notice those shots without a doubt coming up. This is a pretty important piece of equipment. It allows me to suction onto, say, a window or a smooth surface, put a camera, whether it be my phone, the Insta-Go or the 360, and enables me to get some very interesting angles. And if there's no way to suction it, I can always clamp it using this small rig attachment. And if I need to mount my phone anywhere, I can use one of these. Because I'm ramping up my video content this year, I need radio microphones, so typically I'll use these Rode mics with a little microphone in white and black. When I'm out shooting on track, I will normally take 2 cameras with lenses around my neck, and then often in this think tank bag, I'll place another couple of lenses and a whole host of other tricks that I may or may not need. And that bag has lasted me 7 years now and has not missed a beat. It gets wet, it gets thrown around, it's tough, it's made of, I guess, canvas, but yeah, I love the thing. For those of you wondering if this and my camera is heavy, yes, you certainly would not want to be holding it to shoot. So I need a monopod, and I've got a Gitzo monopod, which is lightweight, has a rubber foot on the end, but that is the weak link because often I lose those rubber footers. And once you get a new one and replace it on that metal spike, it never stays on as good as the first time. Next up, I want to talk about this, a Stream Deck. Ooh. It is one of the most important pieces of equipment that I have.
What for what?
Now, for many years I struggled with putting in keywords because what happens is when I'm shooting at a track, let's say I shoot for an hour and a half and I get 1,000 photos, I'll come in, I'll bring them all in, I'll quickly pick out the 120 that I want, bring them in, edit them, and then I have to keyword them. So I have to write Max Verstappen, Red Bull Racing, number 3. Now, of course, you'd never want to do that manually because it's going to take too long. And with 120 photos to keyword and probably only got a few minutes, this is where this comes into its own. I've programmed it such that I look at a picture of Max and I press the top left button. I look at a picture of Oscar Piastri and I press the top right-hand button.
Hi.
And automatically from that one touch, that information is inputted into my keyword section on my laptop. Then I can output that to my ProStarPics.com website, and you, when you search, can put in Verstappen, Norris, whatever, and you'll get all of the images I've shot with that driver's name in it. It's also vital for my video editor that he be able to find pictures. This also does so much more than keywording. I can set up macros to output pictures to certain websites, to different clients, send emails to people. Pretty much anything that takes multiple repeated keywords can be done on a Stream Deck. Laptop-wise, I've got the...
Man, that must save me so much time.
latest MacBook. It's a 15-inch screen and is particularly hardy. And on my Mac, I will have things like all the races up the top here, all of the drivers' names, and down here all of the team names. That has to be replaced because I've still got Alpha Tauri and Alfa Romeo in there, which of course.
Oh my god, you're still lazy.
Names that has to be replaced because I've still got Alpha Tauri and Alfa Romeo in there, which of course are now. Yeah, well, you know what they are.
Yeah, I know. Visa, Cash App, RB, Formula 1 team, and then we have Stake, Formula 1 team, Kick, Sauber. So easy name. Just say that.
Other stuff, gaffer tape, a 2 terabyte hard drive, card.
And to make sure I said them right, we go to the. Is it here? Let's see if I. Then we need to. Yeah, Stake, F1 team, Kick, Sauber, and Visa, Cash App, RB, F1 team. I mean, it's not hard to learn it.
Readers, I take 2. Hollywood fashion tape, what's that about? Occasionally I need to mount a microphone underneath the shirt, so I use double-sided tape, and that stuff is the very best. Earplugs, particularly when I'm working in pit lane where it's very loud, it's vital to have good earplugs, and these were made specifically for my ears. Cost me about $170 US, but they're immaculate, and I keep them in a little pouch around my neck so that I've got them all the time, no matter where I am. Another weakness on the Canon R3s are these little doovers that sit here and cushion your eye from your camera. They fall off, and they fall off very easily. And I was going through probably one every race meeting for a good 7 or 8 months. And then somebody gave me these rubber bands. I don't know whether you can see that, but this is a rubber band that simply tightens the seal. Not lost one since, but I always take spares. On the subject of power, I always take one of these
Oh my god, he's still not done with everything he's
converters,
carrying.
And I also take multiple Apple figure 8 plugs for all the countries. Some of you ask whether I shoot with polarizers, and I do on sunny days. What does a polarizer do? Well, it's quite remarkable. This is a shot without a polarizer, and this is one with. The colours tend to pop a bit more. The sky's always. The colours tend to pop a bit more. Well, it's quite remarkable. This is a shot without a polarizer, and this is one with.
Couldn't you have so you actually could see? Why did you have so it moved?
This is a shot without a polarizer, and this is one with.
It looked like this got more color. But man, the moving just ruined everything.
The colours tend to pop a bit more. The sky's always a darker blue if it's used in sunshine. And if you've got a situation where there's a window, changing the polarizer, which can be done on the circular turning ring on the outside, changes the look from being able to see through the window to seeing just reflection. And what is this contraption in the middle? Well, that is a graduated filter. And typically when we're shooting at night, when you've got quite bright lights in the bottom half of your shot, because that's the track, and then you've got not much light at the top, I will turn that upside down and darken the bottom half of the photo. Oh, and finally on filters, I do take star filters to night races so that all of the lights that illuminate the track turn into these stars. And you can get 4-point stars, 6 and 8-point. Now I carry a small light for doing my videos, and I used to use this one from LumeCube. But do not buy it, because this one had a problem. It was still within its warranty, and these people refused to talk to me. I'll take my iPhone 15 with a quad lock cover, because I love it, and on the back of this cover it's got this little magnetic thing, and I can do stuff like this. Put on the wallet. I use that all the time, but there's a whole host of extras for the quad lock. But certainly I've never ever had any incident, because this is tough as nails. So I've got 2 iPhones, one's a backup. Then I take a Samsung because this is how I transmit my photos from the camera to my websites or my clients. And I'll give you a quick rundown. I've done a separate video on this before, but essentially when I take a photo, I go into the back and I look at the picture. And if that's the one I want to send, I hit the set button, bang, automatically. That photo is transmitted via this to my Dropbox. That means that I can get my normal phone, or this one if I want, because they both have Instagram open. I can bring up the picture, I can edit it in Lightroom on my phone. I can then post it while I'm still in the paddock to Instagram. And look, if the internet's good, I can have a picture up within, realistically, 4 minutes, 3 minutes if I don't need to do much of a caption. And I voice to text my captions, and if you've read them, sometimes you'll realise that there are mistakes. And I'll tell you what happens in most of those cases is I'll be madly typing or voicing to text something, and then something else will be coming over here. I go, right, bugger it, I'll just hit that. I'll hit send, so then it posts, and I take these photos here, and then I go, I better check that post, and I'll come back. And I did one once where I said, Antonio Giovinazzi, da-da-da-da, and I came back 3 minutes later, and it said, Antonio the Nazi. So people go, what do you mean, what do you mean? Well, that's just my inattention to detail, and because I'm doing
Someone speaking the truth. I mean, his name is close to
things
it,
myself, I sometimes let things go through unchecked, but I correct them quickly. Other things in this picture, an Australian power board. Rather than me having to get power adapters for 4 different things, I just use this, I plug the power board in, then I can use all of the plugs from Australia without having to change them over. You should do that too if you travel a lot. I take 2 pairs of glasses because inevitably I'll lose one or break one at some point on a trip. I also take sunglasses which have prescription lenses in them. I take a Leatherman, and this is absolutely invaluable when I'm traveling because oftentimes I'll have to repair stuff on camera kit. I'll need knives, I'll need pliers, file, scissors, knives, saws, and screwdrivers. But get this. It comes with all of these other screwdrivers, and it'll be hard for you to see. But there are 8 extras in here with a different head on each end. And changing from a Phillips head to, say, an Allen key is as simple as that. And of course it doesn't go in my hand luggage, that goes in my suitcase. Why all of the marker pens? Well, I do numerous signed photo collaborations with drivers, and it's important to have a number of different pens because sometimes we're signing white on black and sometimes black on yellow. So I've got to have a variety available. And what is the Glocal Me? Well, that's another device for sending pictures from my camera direct to my websites. I used to use that exclusively, but now I find I get much better, flexibility by using this Samsung phone. And thank you to Michael.
Wait, Samsung better than iPhone?
Anthony, who does my IT in the company. He has introduced so many ways to save time because when I'm at the track, I need to do the maximum possible. So being able to save a second here and a few seconds there is vital. But often it's internet that slows us down, and while in the media centre we do use the Wi-Fi, sometimes it's better to use this cable here and connect direct. And when we're lucky, we can get upload speeds of some 600 megabits per second. And
nu kommer det norrmän.
Hej! Tänker du spisa lite?
Dagens rätt kanske.
A couple of final things in this picture, those green items there with the white heads, camera sensor cleaners. Luckily, for most races, we have Canon and Nikon in the media centre there to service our cameras, lend us gear and to fix any hiccups we may have, but not all races. So on the odd occasion when my sensors are dirty and I have to take to them myself, I find those are the best option. And memory cards, the ones on the right, the CF Express cards, are worth for a 500 gig, about $500 US. The ones on the left, the SD cards, yeah, a fraction of that, maybe, I'm thinking probably $20 US. But those big cards, 500 gig for CF Express, allows me to shoot a lot of photos in very quick succession, and the camera stores them all. And these images are sized about 23 megabits. What software do I use for my workflow? I use 2, Photomechanic and Lightroom. Photomechanic is a very quick way for me to go through 1,000 photos and just pick the ones I want to import into Lightroom. Once I get them into Lightroom, then I would spend probably
Hey, he's memeing.
more than about 5 seconds per image editing, unless it's something important and I might take a couple of minutes there. Or after the day's events, I could take 15 minutes. But most of the time, my workflow pretty much dictates that I work quickly, and hence I only spend a few seconds per picture. I'll bring every photo in and I'll use one of my presets, which is Turbo. And that typically gives my photos just a nice little edge. It's not hugely different, but straight away the image looks better, because if you're a photographer, you'll know that when you shoot RAW, they come out of the camera looking pretty flat. And you can get my preset packages by heading to kimillman.com, going to the shop and purchasing them. When I'm in the paddock and I don't have my good video camera that I'm shooting this video on now, I'll always have my phone with me, and I take out one of these Rode microphones, put a windsock on it because that's vital in just about any sort of wind condition. That sits at the bottom of my phone and gives me sensational audio. A reminder too that you can get your hands on my 2023 Best Of photo book and this 2024 calendar at my shop at kimillman.com, where you can also buy a photo book on every single race for the last, I think it's 2.5 years, and on every single driver. They'll be sent to most countries around the world. Oh, and here's a whole lot of stuff that you want to have a look at. Thanks for watching.
I don't think so.
Stay passionate.
I mean, the only footage I see is what they have in the video.
We gotta share it. I'll sneeze. Come on. Why can't I sneeze? No, I can't sneeze. Bugger, bugger, bugger.
Stream deck. Okay, that was almost depressing how much stuff he's need to carrying around. Let's see how much left is. Yeah, we can watch one more clip from Devil Land. Because I wanna know what that clip is about, and hopefully we'll be done with this. Oh, there's something I need to get.
Coverage today is brought to you by the members of the DL500 Club. For just $10 a month, you get exclusive content and send me to all the races. Okay, so obviously a bunch of news broke about last evening and into this morning, and we just gotta talk about it.
This
now,
is also an old clip.
I'm gonna freely admit right now that this is a bit of a blind spot for me. You know, while I have a lot of contacts in the IndyCar paddock, I can talk to a lot of different people. One of the kind of spots that I don't have a lot of contacts or necessarily a lot of like people's phone numbers are team owners. So a lot of the information that you're going to hear comes from other folks working in the paddock, and I will credit them as we talk about them in this video. But yeah, a lot of news broke yesterday, and a lot of team owners are saying a lot of things, and some of them are very, very strongly right now against what and how Roger Penske and Penske Entertainment are running IndyCar. Now that doesn't apply to all the team owners. In fact, the most loud, vocal, and right now kind of a lone wolf in this is Michael Andretti. And all of this kind of stemmed from an article that was written yesterday by Nathan Brown in the Indy Star. There was a kind of a private meeting of reporters with Michael, and he said a whole lot of different things. And essentially, the teams, and this was confirmed later by Marshall Pruitt of Racer.com, that the teams are not happy with the current idea of the charters. The charters, at least as Penske proposed them, would cost the teams $1 million a year for each of their cars. And that was soundly rejected by the team owners, like right off of the bat, like instantly rejected. So obviously the charter talks have not gone very far at all. The teams want the charters because there's a lot of uncertainty in IndyCar right now. Yes, there are a lot of positives. Like, yes, objectively the TV numbers are up. Merchandise sales, as they've said a couple of times, are up. There's some cool new events. Like, there are good things. Like, we're not saying there's not good things, but you know, if you're a business person in this industry right this minute, you are looking at the future and there are some question marks. I think that is worth saying. I think that's objective fact at this point, and that's proven by many of the team owners bringing these concerns to Penske Entertainment. Specifically, the quote that I think everybody kind of has sensationalized, and rightly so, is that Michael Andretti called for Roger Penske, or has called for him to sell the series, at least part of it in some way. Specifically, Nathan Brown's article, which you can read in the description. I highly suggest you go click on it because it's a great piece of journalism. Essentially says one of the reporters who was on scene asked Michael about Penske being in a tough spot. Is he in a tough position? To which Michael quoted, and I'm going to read a direct quote from the article. Michael said, "Then sell the series. There's people out there willing to do it. I think there's a lot of people on the sidelines thinking this is a diamond in the rough if you do it right, but what you need is big money to get it to that level, and if he's not willing to do it, I think you should step aside and let someone else buy it." He also suggested later in the article that maybe Penske should sell part of the series and continue to have the majority ownership, but sell the rest of it to someone else to generate some capital. You know, I know that Roger Penske does not want to, you know, share this with anybody. This is his series. This is his speedway. He doesn't want to share that with anybody. So the suggestion, which, you know, makes sense, and Michael made it for a reason, that maybe you sell the series and keep the speedway or something like that, or something to that effect, I should say, you know, makes sense on paper. It's not something Roger Penske and co. are willing to compromise on this at this moment. But the fact that a team owner, I mean, because there's been so much negativity over this offseason. I think most people would say that, who are, you know, thinking rationally about everything that's going on in IndyCar racing. But I think a lot of the IndyCar defense force out there has been like, well, you know, the team owners are still happy, right? Well, now we have at least one team owner that is very, very publicly unhappy. And, you know, how many of the team owners share that opinion? We'll have to wait and see. Marshall Pruitt's article, which is also linked in the description, you should also absolutely read, you know, talked about specifically the fact that the team owners tried to do this, or are still trying to do this, behind closed doors. The fact that Michael has come out publicly, I think, says something pretty significant. And, you know, without going too far into the speculation category, I will say this. Michael has had a serious rejection from Formula One. He's got a serious budget in Formula One. At what point do you, Michael Andretti, and you, Dan Tauris, who have spent so much money trying to get to Formula One, say there's a perfectly good series that we could buy or maybe invest in and try to make it an F1 competitor? I mean, if you felt rejected by a series, maybe you feel that way. And maybe this article, I mean, I kind of got that impression a little bit, is a suggestion of sorts that Michael Andretti is kind of raising his hand and saying, hey, I'd like to buy in. I'd like to take an opportunity. I don't know. That's just me reading between the lines on that one. He had a couple of interesting suggestions, too, because I think that's kind of the other way I got the impression, is that Michael kind of came in this article and said, I've got ideas, right? Specifically mentioning something that I've mentioned before, is that IndyCar should adopt a new chassis which would be compatible with IMSA GTP engines to try to get more than 3 manufacturers involved. GM...
Hey, true. Then just have 2 engines.
And Honda, through their Acura brand, are already involved in IMSA. You could keep those manufacturers and potentially expand to like Porsche and Lamborghini and Alpine and any of the other companies that are coming into IMSA GTP racing. It makes a lot of sense if you were to adopt those regulations. And the other thing that I just thought was kind of interesting and is, I think, a point that is well taken is that Michael talked about the post-race celebrations kind of feeling like an SCCA race. I mean, when you turn on an F1 race, and again, I think Mark Miles has a really good point that he's made in a couple of different statements that, you know, I think IndyCar is unfairly compared to, say, Formula One or NASCAR because they do have a lot more money. But I think a fair comparison of IndyCar is to like World Endurance Championship or IMSA. And even to that point, I would say there's probably a little bit more production value in their post-race and pre-race celebrations and stuff like that. So let's talk a little bit about the charters because that seems to be the big...
Actually true, jag menar, they only care about the winner. The second or third place, nobody cares about.
You know, sticking point with the teams right now. I mean, Michael obviously raised a lot of specific concerns. One thing that the team owners in their meetings that Marshall Pruitt talked about, specifically talked about the idea that maybe Liberty could buy the series. That I can confirm with you has definitely taken place. Liberty has reached out at least 3 times to try to buy the series. And as reported by other outlets, apparently Roger on the 3rd inquiry essentially told them to F off in probably no uncertain terms. The specifics of these meetings that the team owners have been doing, according to Marshall Pruitt, is that there were 2 meetings held in February. There was a 6-team meeting early on in February, and then a later meeting that included all 10 teams. However, in the second meeting, Michael Andretti and Dan Towers did not attend. They had Rob Edwards attend in their stead. So that's very curious with the current article that came out of the Indy Star. Who's attending that meeting, who's looking at, who's taking that seriously, or maybe who's not taking that meeting seriously, right?
Nobody.
Now, I think the final part of this all is that Chip Ganassi seems like one of Roger Penske's biggest supporters. In the press conference yesterday, which I asked specifically about locked-in spots at the Indy 500 to Chip Ganassi, which he said he would favor a promoter's option like CART, which is interesting because I can't remember the last time CART used a promoter's option. I'm pretty sure that would have been back in the late 80s, maybe the early 90s at the latest. So you're talking almost 35 years ago when the promoter's option was ever even a thing. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about there. I think the locked-in spots, I mean, you guys know me very well at this point. Locked-in spots at the Indy 500 should...
En underbart god chokladsmak och krispighet. Nu som flingor. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat cereal.
No, don't have that.
Absolutely not happen in any case. But at that press conference, Chip Ganassi specifically mentioned that he's bullish on the future of the series, supports the series, reiterated that in an Indy Star article that was also written by Nathan Brown, essentially saying, hey, he saved us from COVID. Well, you know, I think that is definitely a point that, yes, Roger Penske did do that. Objectively, he did do that. I think it's also important to note that we're talking about something that happened 4 years ago. And I get it. We're an IndyCar series that remembers 1996 like it was the Alamo, right? Like, we still blame the split for all of IndyCar's problems, and I guess we're going to continue to blame COVID for all its problems. I mean, at some point, you go into the restaurant and they're still making you, stand 6 feet apart 4 years later. Maybe it's the restaurant's fault, not COVID's fault, right? So, yes, I think Chip does have a point, but does he have a point in 2024 about talking about the problems of 2024 by bringing up the problems of 2020? I don't know. That's a bit of a head scratcher to me, but I think there's a lot of turmoil right now. I'm very curious about where things are going to go. Certainly, we're going to continue to stay on top of it. But I kind of feel a lot of the same feelings that I felt in December. And here we are on really the second day of school now, the first race of the season. And a lot of I think I said this a couple videos ago, the problems that exist have not stopped existing. And now, as the problem continues to roll down the hill, you're seeing more and more people willing to speak out against it publicly. Now, finally, I guess the final point I'll make is, do I think this is going to lead to some sort of a split? No. There isn't a series out there right now. Until, you know, Michael Andretti starts his own series or Liberty Media starts their own series, there won't be a split. But I think that having unhappy team owners, having unhappy fans, having unhappy manufacturers, there's a lot of things that are going to need to be addressed pretty quickly here. And, you know, the longer they, you know, don't go addressed, the greater and greater these problems and the louder the voices are going to get. I don't think we've heard the last of any of this stuff, and obviously we'll talk about it when it breaks. So thank you guys so much for watching. Qualifying report later on today, and we'll see you in the next video.
Big problems in Indycar. Yeah. So that's interesting. Michael Andretti doesn't like what the team owner Penske are doing. Or the team owner. I guess it's team owner also. But the IndyCar owner, I would say. Now it's probably nothing more fun to watch. So it's just, yeah, the last stint in the outmining. Yeah, what can you call it? I mean, it's not a cave. Underground place. And let's see, 2022. Soon 1 week left until IndyCar and Formula 1 have more races. Let's see. Do we have the information? What the fuck do we have? The terminal. The fuck is this? Why don't do it say anything? Man, the names of the races is weird. Something thermal will apparently IndyCar be at. And Formula 1 will be in Australia. Oh my gosh, soon done. Will it be any more diamonds? We will soon see if I will get any more diamonds from this place. But this looks really slim to have more diamonds. Creeper. Nope. And we only need more torches. And then we need to fix the floor. And the wall. On both sides. God damn it. And then it will soon look like that. Or look like this. remember like this. I think I've done that. We need more stone. The last touches before it will be the end. It's the end of the world as we know it. Then I'm done. Or done. I'm that wall is needed to get removed, and this wall is needed to get removed. So it's done enough. I know this part is needed to get removed. Oh yeah, creeper was here. He got this spawn? Question mark. Let's see, do we have anything more of the... Here we have it. Right, look down. Oh, now it's looking even more down. Yep, we call it for the day. For now it's done. Or when I got more torches on the wall. Then it's more done. Let's see. I can have this on me. Can keep that. This will take with us. God damn it. Have I room for... What more of this we need? That we need. That can stay. And now we run to where we will be tomorrow. Now we are done with the mining, we can actually do some more fun stuff. We can take out that. Oh. Here we have some more lanterns. No. Okay. Let's see. Wait. See, am I mostly done with? Yeah, mostly done. Oh, I've not finished this. So this could be what I will be doing tomorrow. Fixing up, so this corner will be 100% on. Fuck. Yeah, so if all this will be removed. Slime. Almost getting killed by myself. Anyway. Did I have... Can I build this myself? No. Okay. So here we have the area that we need to remove a lot of stuff. So it's look more like this. So here we have something. And did this also have a... Yeah, just a wall. And the walls look like it also need to be removed. Yeah, the walls is needed to get removed. So you can actually look out through the window. Let's see. Can I... Yeah, this can also get all filled in with glass. What more? Maybe fixing so all this area have their... You say water... I mean, if you don't know how to make places where water should be, just place pumpkin where the lava had been. Then you get an outline where a water place can be. Okay, I have done at this the panda area. here we have it. So here it was lava before. Then I just placed pumpkins and now sand, and then you have a place where water can be. And almost all pandas is here. The one panda that have maybe committed suicide. These 2 blocks. What do you say? 2 blocks fall. Whatever. I'm guessing this is the reason. You just roll out and then got too much damage. But this is the greatest panda I ever got. 1 month, I think, of just breeding pandas. 100% worth it. So that's the plan. To fixing up so I can start. Yeah, they can look what kind of animals is needed for. So it is. So the plan is. Oh shit! I need to. Because it is near the lava strider zoo area. So the corner will have similar stuff, like desert or hot climates. And here on this side will be more tropical areas, like for axolotus, and whatever now special animal. One frog, I believe. Don't I have? Where do we have my nice paint? No, quite. Holy shit! I need to find that. Where can I put it? Give me, where is that place? Oh my god, what can that be? Not that one. Not this one. Could this be it? I don't see it. God damn it. No, it must be there. Why can't I see it? Nope, not map over Minecraft. Nope. Man, I need to... should have it somewhere. Will that work? Here we have it. Nice. Let's see, can I... let's see. Man, come on. Yeah. Okay. Now we have it. So here we have the Strider. So the plan is apparently to have llamas in this area. Let's see. Damn it, I don't have so I can jump out. Okay, here I can at least jump out. Okay, so under me it should be the desert rabbit, the camel, and the desert frog. And the only thing I have a desert rabbit. And I don't have the llamas either. I have the donkey and I can bring the horses. So the camel, the rabbit, and the frog in this place. But that's the question. There's a lot of places there can be water in this one. No, go away. Feel like I need to maybe make this map again. Well, it will be a later problem. So we skip this problem and then we oh shit. And we stop where we should be. Oh shit. Before that I need to take some screenshots to show what I did today. And then we need to run back. Oh shit. But that animal stuff need to get some changes. Come on. One more food item down. Come on. Just Well, here we are. I need 4 chicken clubs gone for me to eat this. Or I really don't need to do this, but I want to. I feel correct. God damn it. Oh, we are close. One more. Now we can take a screenshot with full life. One here maybe. Now we can run back and place us in the right position for tomorrow. There we have it. And let's see what fun tomorrow will brings. Maybe I will be watching or listen to the Formula 1 Nation podcast thingy, but who knows? Or maybe something else will happen.